Again, so we're back for another reading vlog. This one is Battle-a-thon week 2. So every team has kind of like a different prompt that you get bonus points for. So my prompt this week is to kind of read 5-star reads that I think I'm gonna also love. But my bonus prompt is also to read books by authors that I've never read before, which I think is a bit more challenging than other people's bonus prompts, because normally when I think of 5-star read predictions, I think of books by authors that I have read before. So this week I'm going to focus on new to me authors, and then next week I'm going to focus on authors that I've read before and books in a series, because one of the prompts will count. But those are books I anticipate really enjoying. These books are just a luxury. There's a bunch of different genres, a bunch of different options. So yeah, let's just turn you around and show you the spinner wheel. I really love these spinners. Sorry, you can hear my dad's TV in the background. Dragons. I'm actually going to re-spin on my wheel because I forgot to add my library book to it, and that's like a book that I actually do need to read in the next couple of weeks, so I wanted to include it. So I am going to re-spin, and whatever it picks I will read. If it's the Housekeepers, I'll read that as well, but I forgot to add that to my spinning wheel. And something this popper goes up, it doesn't do it. Ooh, The Prince and the Apocalypse. That's definitely going to be a different genre than I have been reading, but I'm going to grab it and we'll pick it up and I'll go over the summary. And yeah, so that's going to be the first book I'm going to be reading. This book was the Amazing Readathon because it had like a bluish cover, but it basically follows Ren, who's the worst kind of traveler. She's going a senior trip for London that's supposed to be light changing. And then she meets a cute boy with a British accent in there, and he's a prince. And I guess there's like an end of the world event and they're kind of like stuck together. So it's supposed to be super quick. It's like it's like barely 300 pages. So I should probably get through this pretty quickly. But I've actually heard pretty good things about this, and I really want to go to London again soon. I love books about princes and commoners. It's like one of my favorite tropes. And whenever I read books about the British royal family, it always gives me Prince Harry vibes, and I'm a Prince Harry fan, so. And I'm a Meghan Markle fan, so I'm going to go get something to eat, and then I'm going to read the first 50 pages of this, and then I'll give you guys a check-in. But I'm excited I'm finally getting into this because this was a book that I did think was going to be 5 stars anyway, so yeah. And Rachel and Solomon blurbed it, so I'm super excited. All right, I'm going to go read a bit, and then I'll give you guys an update. Bye. Dragons, I'm back. It is much later. It is almost 5:30, so, but I did wind up reading the first 50 pages of The Prince and the Apocalypse by Karen McDowell, and I'm really enjoying this book. Like, it could probably be 5 stars just because so many of the elements of the story is working for me. So, a main character named Ren, and she anticipates she's going to have the trip of a lifetime when she goes to England. She has planned this school-related trip. She recently graduated. She goes with her best friend. Things don't go according to plan. And it reminds me a lot of my experience when I went to England. I went on a trip when I was in college, and I had a great time on my trip, but the first week of my trip I was really sick. I had like food poisoning or like water poisoning when I went there, and she had a very similar experience. So as she's kind of wrapping up her trip, she feels very defeated. She winds up running into a prince, and they kind of meet, and he says, look, if you ever need anything. She helps him out of a favor because people are kind of looking for him. She says, just call this number. And little does she know, she's trying to get home, but there's an apocalypse afoot. There's supposed to be a comet that's going to kind of break into Earth, and she doesn't know if she's ever going to see her family again. So later, they decide to team up to kind of get her back to America and have him go to the place that he wants to spend his last days if the world's going to end, Santorini, Greece. And they have to use public transportation, so he needs kind of like a bodyguard, because people can't know him because he's running away from the royal family, and you know that's very bad. But he doesn't want to be royal in his last days if he is going to die, if the world's gonna end, which I think is just a fun read. Like, it's just really quick. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm just loving it. Like, I've already read 50 pages and I just want to keep reading. I remember at the end of the summer I like would have read this because I think it would have been a perfect read to read when I was traveling, but I put down because I was reading too many contemporaries back to back. But this is just a fun read. I'm really enjoying it, and I love books about travel. I love books about commoners and royalty. I just think it's great, and anything that gives me like Queen vibes I just like because it gives me Harry and Meghan vibes, and I just love that. You know, I also read a lot of other books like American Royals and stuff like that, so those vibes really do work for me, and it's just fun. I think Ren is a very relatable character, and I'm curious if we're gonna get like side characters, because that's what often makes a contemporary book fleshed out to me. But yeah, I'm gonna go read another, like, when I get to page 150 because I'm going to give you guys another update. And then I'll give you guys a time check, but that's my goal, to read at least to page 150 tonight. It is pretty like humid here, so I may take the puppy for a second walk. I may not. We'll just see if she actually gets up and wants to go. But yeah, I definitely have to work on drinking more water because I talk all week for my job, and that's why I sound like I have laryngitis. I do not have laryngitis, it just sounds like I do. So yeah, I'm gonna go read another 150 pages of this, and then I'll give you guys an update. But so far, if like, you know, just vibes wise, this is gonna either be like a very high 4 or a 5-star, but I'm really enjoying it. It's quite fun, and I just like the characters. So the one thing that would have made it a little bit better is if we got both characters' point of view, and that hasn't quite happened yet, but still, I'm still really enjoying it. I'll be back for an update when I have one in about 100 more pages. Bye. Friends, I just want to do a quick update because I did wind up getting up to basically page 150 in The Prince and the Apocalypse by Kara McDowell. I'm really liking this book. Like, I think it's solid. I think that because there is like an apocalypse element to this story, the relationship between the prince and the main character does, I will be honest, if it was any other story, it would feel very insta-love to me. But I will also say that, like, I am enjoying this because the stakes are so high and I'm just enjoying the story. I think I like the travel element. I think there's a lot happening with both characters. It's definitely going to be like a 5-star read for me. It would have been like a true 5-star if it was dual point of view, because I feel like we're missing a little bit from Prince Theo's point of view. But I think that's half of the mystique, is to kind of only have Ren's point of view. But I think it's a very, very compelling story, and I'm really, really captivated by it. I know we get a sequel, so I'm curious to see how this book ends. But yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. Like, it's a quick read. It gives me like our world in the pandemic, like how everyone was frantic to get home and stuff like that. But I also like the travel elements. I like that Ren's, you know, abroad trip didn't go exactly as planned. And I like Prince Theo. You could definitely give it's inspired by Prince Harry and, like, you know, that dynamic, because he feels a little bit isolated from his family. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So my goal is to read another like 100 pages, and when I get up to 250, I will give you guys like a solid update. But so far, I'm gonna go back to read. I'm gonna also make some progress on Superman and Lois today, try to catch up on my YouTube queue, all the good things. I definitely have lost my voice, so I'm gonna try to, you know, rest my voice, drink a ton of water. I'm gonna go to yoga today. I just worked out. And yeah, I will talk to you guys when I have an update, hopefully in about 100 pages. So bye. Hey friends, I'm back. Sorry if I'm talking a little bit softly. My dad and my dog are sleeping. So today I actually did wind up making quite a bit of progress on all the things I'm in the middle of reading. I did wind up finishing not finishing. I'm about 250 pages into The Prince and the Apocalypse by Kara McDowell. I will say I got very, very spoiled for this book because I accidentally I looked on her Goodreads, so do not do that if you're going to read this book, because there is a sequel to this. I would not read it, the sequel summary, because it will totally spoil you. I thought it was a companion book. It's not. It follows the same characters. But I'm really enjoying this. It's just a fun time. Like, it probably is going to be a 5-star read for me just because it was very, very digestible, very, very quick. I like the end of the world element to it. The only other book I read that had like a modern day end of the world was We All Look Up, and that was also very interesting, but it had like a very open ending, which I struggle with. But this I'm just really liking. It also has a lot of conversations about the British monarchy and mental health struggles, which, you know, Prince Harry has talked a lot about, which I think is very, very compelling. I also do really like Ren's point of view, so I'm very, very captivated by this. I also finished Echoes of You by Catherine Cowles, which I gave 5 stars to. That is the second book in her Lost and Found series that followed Maddie and one of the brothers. I really like that she had an abusive ex, which I thought was very captivating. I just have to remember when I go into Catherine Cowles' books that all her heroes are going to be like a little bit over the top, and they're going to be a little bit like protective, but that's just because of the situations that they're in. Like, you know, there's always a romantic suspense element to the story, so I think the characters always start off a little bit heightened and just like very like overprotective, and like it's not always my favorite. But I really did like that. There was a pretty big twist at the end that I didn't see coming, and I just really enjoyed it. So I gave that 5 stars. I will attach a photo before or after this clip. And then I also started reading Glimmers of You by Catherine Cowles, which is the 3rd book in that series, which follows the daughter in the family and her she falls for her best friend's brother, and she has diabetes 1 rep, which my uncle had, so I like that representation because I thought it was very, very realistic. But yeah, so I have literally about 50 pages left of this, and then I'm gonna wrap it up, but I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely gonna be a 5-star read. It is a very, very quick read, very, very digestible, and I think it was a perfect weekend read because I really just want to fly through it. It also, she's a list maker, she's a scheduler, and if you know anything about me, my friends will tell you that is how I am. I'm like very, very list based. It's funny, I was just literally on my phone with my friend Sarah because we're going to Comic-Con together, and we were just planning out like what we wanted to do, and we were like, I haven't made my schedule yet, but I'm contemplating making a schedule. I always make a schedule every single year, so but yeah, that's where we are with that. And I'm just really liking this. Again, I've read a lot of like monarchy books, and it always reverts back to when, you know, with the Prince Harry and Prince William things in the firm and stuff, and how much we've learned about that in the past couple of years. So Kara McDonald really is doing it a really, really fun experience. It also gives me like the American Royals vibes, and just I'm really, really liking it. It's a very, very insular story, so there really is only 2 main characters. But you do get side characters throughout the story, which I do like. I don't like romance. Hey Book Dragons, I'm back. Sorry for the weird angle. We are doing my windows tomorrow, so I had to rearrange my whole room. And now the dog is gonna come in because she needs to know what's happening. Hi. You're gross because it's all wet. Hey, you got me wet. Nice. Cassie, I'm trying to do something. Can you stop? You wanna say hi? Ow, that hurt. Alright, so she's gonna have to stay here while I do this. But I did want to say that I am about 100 pages into Suddenly a Murderer by Lauren Muniz. I am enjoying it. Again, I struggle with unlikable characters. And this is Cassie, can you stop? Sorry, I've been trying to get better at updating the blog. It is a Monday. Today was our early day at work, so I had to leave my house at like 5:20, which I never do. So that was a bit of an experience. I'm definitely tired, but that's okay. So I only wound up reading 100 pages of Suddenly a Murderer by Lauren Muniz, and I'm not sure how I feel about this book, to be very honest. It is a murder mystery. It basically follows all of these characters. They're very, very rich. They're very, very privileged, most of them. And they kind of have a 1920s party. They all have secrets. You get various point of views. And then you kind of flash back in time, but one of them is murdered. So I read about 100 pages. All the characters are incredibly unlikable, which, again, as I kind of said in the past, is not my favorite thing to read, just because I have to root for the characters. But it is a murder, it is a murder mystery, so I'm kind of going in with a little bit of open mind. But I wound up reading 100 pages. My goal is tomorrow is to get up to page like 200 and read like 100 pages tomorrow too, which I think is definitely doable. It is, what time is it? It is 8:12, so if I really wanted to, I could probably read a little bit more. I'm also I have like an hour left in Glimmers of You by Catherine Cowles, which is my audiobook. So yeah, this probably is going to be like a 3-star read for me, unless the ending is like super captivating. But I am enjoying it. I do like the timelines. It kind of gives me Diana Rayburn vibes when Diana Urban. When I read her first book, when all the characters were kind of locked in like a setting together, and they were also super unlikable, and that book had like a wild twist. So I'm hoping this book has a wild twist, and I'm hoping that I do enjoy it. But right now, the characters are not capturing me as much, and I don't really feel that connected to the characters. I feel like all the voices are a little bit similar. Even when we go back into the past, like, and we get different point of views, they all feel very, very similar. So yeah, I'm hoping that I like it a little bit more. I'm going to read another like 50 pages tonight. Hopefully that's like the goal. And then tomorrow morning when I come home from work, I'll give you guys an update. I also have to work out tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day that I only have 2 preps, so I won't get as much audiobook listening, and there's just a lot to do at my job. So that's kind of the story of the beginning of the year. Also, my windows are getting redone tomorrow, so I don't know how much, if I'm going to be able to film tomorrow, if it's going to be like a one-day thing or not. And then I have to choose a new audiobook, and yeah, so I might read about 50 more pages of this, or just read a little bit more, just because I really haven't had enough time to kind of sit down and devote to it. So I'm gonna go read a bit more. Hopefully I enjoy it a little bit more, but I will say the characters are not clicking with me right now, which is a bit sad. So I'm gonna go read a bit more, and then I'll talk to you guys definitely tomorrow. If I read a ridiculous amount and want to update you guys tonight, I will. But I will probably give you an update when I read about 100 more pages. Bye. Big Dragons, I'm back. So I'm just gonna do a bit. I actually spent like about an hour like just organizing my life. It's like 6 o'clock, and always on Sunday nights I try to reassess where I am for the week. So I'm kind of doing that. I'm not quite done, but I have to set an alarm for Monday because they changed our work schedule, which is fine, but just for me, because I live so far from my job, I just have to set an alarm that I have to like wake up significantly earlier on Mondays. I gotta get up at like 4:30 or 4, yeah, I gotta get up at like 4:20. So I have to set my alarm, and I'm just gonna repeat it on Mondays. It's 4:20 a.m. Yeah, so yeah. So I had to set that, so I made sure that that's on an alarm. But yeah, alas. So I did want to say that I went up finishing The Prince and the Apocalypse by Karen McDowell. I'm going to give this book 5 stars because I really enjoyed it. And I think if I hadn't been spoiled on the end, I think I would have gave it a full 5 star. But I'm going to write it up to 5 just because I really did enjoy it. It was a really fun, quick read that had really good mental health representation. And I just liked it. The only thing I would have highlighted a little bit more is if we got dual point of view. And I felt like it could have read as Insta-Love, but like the circumstance the characters were in just worked for me. So yeah, I added 2 things on my wheel. I added Wild and True Wild. Wild means I can pick anything on the wheel that I want to read, and True Wild means I could read any book by any author that I've never read before. It just, you know, so just to add some spontaneity to the game. So I'm going to spin, and I'm actually going to spin twice because I always like to have a backup book with me when I'm commuting. So we're going to do 1 and 2, and then I'm going to decide which one I want to read first. Ooh. Okay, Suddenly a Murderer is the first book. So that's the first book I'm going to read, I think. And then I'm going to do, okay, and then I'm going to do another reel just so I could have a backup book with me in case I by chance finish it, because you just never know during the work week like how much reading I'm going to get done. So I always like to have 2 books, and I have a TikTok I need to film about that too. So Sahara! Okay, so I'm going to go get those 2 books so we can chat about them. And that will be the books I'm going to start with for the week. And I may just read those. I may read more, but let me go get them so we can chat about them. And then I'm going to go film that TikTok that I have to do. So I'll be back. Right, so the first book that got picked was Suddenly a Murderer. And this is One of Us Lying Meets Knives Out in this killer locked room mystery. It's a 1920s party, and then a girl's boyfriend turns up dead. So I think I'm gonna start with this. This is about 300 pages, which is about the length I have been reading, and it still is a mystery thriller. It's a new to me author. I've heard really good things. This is another book that I picked up from ALA. And then the other one that is going to be a bit chunkier, it's almost 400 pages, is Zahara, Guardians of Dawn, Sailor Moon meets Cinder in this richly imagined fantasy series. And yeah, so this was going to be my backup book that I just am going to stick in my book sleeve. I got this from Story Hero like so long ago. It's my Hufflepuff one. So long ago. And it's like one of my favorite book sleeves. Oh, that's all my stuff for work. Just because it is really, really well made, and commuting and such, you never know what's going to happen. So I think I'm going to start with Suddenly a Murderer, but I have to film a TikTok with these books, so I might as well just keep them out. And my goal for tonight is to ideally read 50 pages, which is what I normally do. I'm going to try to read 50 and see how I'm feeling. It's very, very blue. I had hoped to get to this in August for my Amazing Readathon, and it was actually a 5-star reproduction. And this is another one that I really think I'm going to enjoy, so that's why I was on there. So yeah, these are the 2 books I'm going to read. It's going to be how I start off my week. And I am also reading Glimmers of You by Catherine Cowles, which has the potentiality to be a 5-star read. I have read Catherine Cowles before, but I am enjoying that. As I talked about previously, I haven't read that much more. I don't know if the puppy's going to want to go for a walk. She sometimes is a bit difficult. But yeah, so I have my 2 books for this vlog that I'm going to keep on reading, and we will see how far I get. I will definitely try to update you guys every single day when I get home from work. Tomorrow is not my workout day, so I have tomorrow off. Tomorrow so I'll have to go to work really early, and I've never done that before, so I don't know how I'm going to be feeling afterwards. And tomorrow is also my day where I don't have 3 periods left, I only have 2, so my listening might fall a little bit at the wayside. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna go do that TikTok that I have to film for tomorrow, because in the morning I know I'm gonna be a little bit stressed till I get out of the house on time. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will check in with you guys when I have read 50 pages of Suddenly a Murderer. If it's not tonight, it will definitely be tomorrow when I get home, because I on average read about 50 pages the whole day as I'm commuting. But I may read more, we'll see. But I also really do like thrillers, and because last year, if you go back and watch my September vlogs and stuff, I read so little. I'm really proud of myself that I'm actually averaging books to do a mid-month wrap-up, which I'm actually really impressed with. Alright, enough about that. So I'm gonna go film the videos that I have to do and get everyone ready for tomorrow. And then I will check in with you guys when I have read 50 pages of Suddenly a Murderer. And hopefully it's going to be a win, because I would want to have as many 5 stars this month as I can to help Team Blue Dragon. So off I go film them TikTok, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. I tried to film this a couple of times, but my puppy does not cooperate always. Sorry if I look a little bit rough. I feel a little bit rough because it has been so hot in New York, and it just has been affecting me when I teach, because I teach in like an auditorium and my office is in AC, so all day today it just has been rough, and it just gives me really, really bad headaches, so I've been having a hard time focusing. But I did want to say that because of that, I did want to finish in Glimmers of You by Catherine Cowles. I got to the end of that, and I really did like that. I think it's my second favorite in the whole series. Definitely think Echoes of You is still my favorite, but I like the dynamics between all these characters. It does give me Friends to More vibes, which is definitely my favorite trope. I think that this is definitely Catherine Cowles' most suspenseful book in the whole series. Both of the books I read back to back pretty much are that way, and I'm really liking it. I think it's not just suspense at the end, which sometimes is hit or miss for me. I especially felt that in her Tattered and Torn series. I sometimes think the hello, hi, I know, like so hey, no, you have to eat. Sorry, she wants me to do something. She wants me to follow her. That's what she wants me to do, and I'm not gonna do it. No, I'm doing something. I have someone I'm talking. I have someone I'm talking to. You want to remember? Hey, stop it. No, you don't always get what you want. I'm talking to my dog because she... Sit there. Good. Sit there. So that has been that, but I really did like that. I'm really excited for the next 2 books in the series. The next one is A Single Mom, which her character has been kind of built up. That tends to be the book that like I'm the most intrigued by the characters that you kind of see throughout the other books, and I really do like her. Name's Aspen, and she's a single mom, and there's a kind of mystery elements with her past, so I'm really excited for that. And then the last one is The Last Brother, and that is Single Dad, so I'm really excited for that one as well. But yeah, that's where we are with that. I also made it to page 150 in Suddenly a Murderer by Lauren Munoz. I will say none of these characters are that likable, and you do get a lot of different point of views in the past. But basically, a murder has happened at this 1920s party, and they're all rich, privileged kids for the most part, except our main character, Izzy, who, you know, is a little bit, you know, not as high class as the rest of them, but a murder happens, and you're trying to kind of uncover what happened in the past. And there's 2 detectives like in the house that are kind of solve it, and one detective gives me Sherlock Holmes vibes, like very much like that vibe that I get when I read like YA books, but kind of as like an adult character. So that's really, really working for me. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think that it's a quick read, very, very digestible, but as a character-led story, I don't feel that connected to the characters. Honestly, there's one character, I don't know what his name is. It's not Blaine. I think it's Marlowe, I think, that I'm really liking, and Ellison. Those are the 2 characters that right now I'm the most captured by, but I don't know who killed Blaine, so that's kind of intriguing. But yeah, I'm gonna go try to read another like 50 pages. I might have to take the puppy for a walk if she cooperates, which she may not. But my goal is to read at least another 50 pages tonight and watch another episode of Superman and Lois. try to catch up on my YouTube queue, which I'm never going to catch up on, but that's the goal. And hopefully I can do something to make this headache evaporate, because I am dying. It's been like 4 days of a chronic headache, and I think it's just due to the heat and adjusting to my sleep schedule. Monday we have to wake up super early, and I think I slept really, really well, but it's just, you know, that's the kind of thing you don't really think about, like when you're adjusting going back to work. Like I really did nothing all summer, and I didn't really talk to anyone all summer, so my voice is pretty much shot as well. So it's a bunch of different things. I just look tired. Like looking at you, I feel like I could sleep. I probably could. But yeah, so I'm gonna go read another 50 pages of this, hopefully. That's the goal. And just give you guys a time check if I can. I would love to get up to page like 300 tonight. That might be pushing it a little bit, but that's the goal. We will see if the puppy cooperates. I also did my windows. You can't see them, but they're not done, so that's why my room is still a little bit out of sorts. And yeah, tomorrow is my day where I'm supposed to have a lot of periods off, just because the other days I teach more than we're supposed to. So I have like 5 periods off tomorrow, which means I only have to technically teach 3 periods, which may get a lot of audiobook listening in, but I'm really upset there's nothing else I can listen to by Catherine Cowell, so I'm gonna have to pick a new romance audiobook. And yeah, I will talk to you guys when I have an update for Suddenly a Murderer. Hopefully when I read another like 50 pages, I will give you guys an update and just kind of give you my thoughts. But yeah, I don't really I think all the characters have a solid motive for killing Blaine, so I'm intrigued to see how this story shakes out. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. I'm back. I don't know what time it is, but I did wind up finishing 2 books today, which I think is pretty good. So the first book I literally just finished is Suddenly a Murderer by Lauren Munoz. This was like a 4-star read for me. I think the ending really saved this book, because the book started off with super unlikable characters and it wasn't capturing me, but after like the murder happened, I became very invested, and the end was like a really interesting read. It's definitely a take on Clue, but the elements of the story really did work for me. Again, the characters are a little bit unlikable, but I would say sorry, you're gonna see my dog in the background. The story kind of got saved by the plot elements, and I'm gonna give this one 4 stars for review. I also finished reading an audiobook that was like not... So the next book I finished wasn't really meant for this vlog, but I picked it up anyway, and I did wind up finishing it. So I wound up finishing The Van Beekers of 144th Street, Happily Ever After or Ever After. I will attach a photo like here. Libro ALC program, and I really loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It wrapped up this whole series, and this series is definitely one of my favorite middle grade series of all time. It just worked. It basically follows this family, this really, really large family that's set in New York City, right near where I used to go to college, right near City College, and it just follows their adventures for the course of like 2 years. And the first book is a Christmas story, and then every kind of book follows has like a seasonal approach to it. And oh my god, I just loved it. This book is probably the most emotional book there was in the whole series. Every book had emotion in it, but this book was really emotional. It had a cancer element to it and a hospice element to it as well. One of the other books had death of a loved one, but this book was very, very sad, because it followed one of the main characters, one of the siblings in this group did get diagnosed with something, and it kind of followed their journey through that. And I really did like it. It was very, very emotional, very, very heartfelt, and I really loved it. It was a very emotional read, a very, very impactful read, but one that I think like middle grade readers should read. It was just a very, very emotional series, and I really did like it. I gave it 5 stars. So yeah, I'm gonna go see how long this vlog is. If it's about 20 minutes, I'm probably gonna post it or like wrap it all up. So if that is the case and you don't see me again, I wound up reading a couple of things this week that kind of corresponded to this vlog. I wound up finishing Suddenly a Murderer by Laura Munoz, and I gave this 4 stars for review. I read Van Beekers of 144th Street Ever After, which I gave 5 stars. I read Glimmers of You by Catherine Cowell, and I really liked that one, and I gave that book 4 stars as well. And I'm trying to think if I read anything else for this vlog. I don't think I did. No, I don't think I did. If I did, I will... Laura's won't be paying attention. But yeah, I did want to finishing this, which I'm really happy about. I think I did read something else. Let me go look on my Goodreads. Everything is on Goodreads, and if it's not on Goodreads, then I didn't read it. But I was trying to read books by like new to me authors this week, and I really failed at that because a lot of the books I finished were by authors that, oh, The Prince and the Apocalypse by Karen McDonald. That was a book that knew, and I actually gave that one 5 stars. So I actually had a pretty good reading week. Not all of the books were by new to me authors, but all my physical ones were. So that is pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap up this vlog and hope that it's not too long or too short, I guess. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.